Tonight, dressed in a black satin shirt, leather pants, and silver chains was Reno G1 of Nova Boys. Glinting under the spotlights, he didn't just own the stage, he was the stage. "Reno, I love you," someone screamed. "Nova Boys forever," another shouted. Everyone believed he was singing just for them. But Reno, he belonged to no one. Welcome to Tales SCN, where African and Korean worlds collide and come alive with modern romance, relatable humor, and binge-worthy drama. Get comfy, grab your popcorn, and don't forget to hit the subscribe and notification button for more updates. The song that started it all. The stadium was alive, lights flashing, glow sticks waving, and the roar of thousands shaking the ground. On stage, 5 young men moved like they were born for it. The kings of the global stage. And at the side was him. Reno G1. The golden boy. Black, slightly tousled hair fell over sharp almond-shaped eyes, glinting like dark glass under the lights. His sharp jawline caught every angle, and that dangerous half-smile? That was the reason millions screamed his name. Tonight, dressed in a black satin shirt, leather pants, and silver chains glinting under the spotlights, he didn't just own the stage, he was the stage. The crowd was a sea of neon and tears. Fans waved banners, some cried, others laughed, but every single voice shouted his name. "Reno, I love you," someone screamed. "Nova Boys forever," another shouted. Everyone believed he was singing just for them. But Reno belonged to no one. Meanwhile, across the ocean, far from blinding lights and screaming fans, Deborah Afrobeat, known to the industry as Starr, sat on the soft office chair of her tiny Lego studio. Her curly black hair was tied up in a messy bun, a worn hoodie hung off one shoulder, and her laptop that housed her unfinished project right in front of her. She wasn't just another dreamer with a pen. Starr was one of Africa's hidden weapon, the ghost behind chart-topping hits. She'd written for Afrobeat's royalties and even penned hooks for American stars. Her debut album Cosmos had topped the Nigerian music charts for its unique sound and catchy lyrics that stuck with her listeners. But tonight her pen wasn't cooperating. "No, the chorus is too soft. Needs more fire," she muttered under her breath, frustrated. "Ugh, why is my brain refusing to work?" Just then the door swung open and in bounced Kemi, her best friend and chaos bringer. Kemi was everything Starr wasn't: bold, loud, and fashionably fearless. She was a talented music producer who had also helped in producing Starr's debut album. Her black beaded braids bounced as she entered, holding a pack of crunchy plantain chips. "Why are you looking like someone just broke your heart?" Kemi teased, smiling as she leaned on the door. "What's going on? Creative block again?" Starr sighed dramatically, taking her hands off her laptop. "Block? Babe, this is a whole creative drought. A Sahara Desert situation." Kemi laughed, shaking her head. "You better fix that drought fast before your label starts sending 'we regret to inform you' emails." But before Starr could reply, her laptop chimed with a new email notification. She lazily clicked it and froze. Her breath caught. Her eyes widened. "No way. Oh my God," she whispered, barely breathing. What happened? Did Thames and Wiskett finally get together?" Kemi teased, laughing. Starr turned slowly, still staring at her screen, her chest rising and falling rapidly. "Kemi," she whispered, "they want me." "Wait, who? Burna? Kendrick Lamar?" Kemi asked, gasping dramatically. No, tell me it's bad girl Riri." Starr swallowed hard, holding her laptop with trembling hands. "No. Reno of Nova Boys." For a second Kemi stared blankly. And then she screamed so loud the neighbor's generator went silent. "Pack your bags, girl. You're marrying him." Starr laughed, shaking her head. "It's not marriage, a beg. They just want me to write for his solo album." But deep down her stomach flipped. Reno of Nova Boys. The Reno G1. The man whose voice topped global charts, whose dance videos broke TikTok, whose face stared at her every time her cousins scrolled Instagram. This was no ordinary job. Back in Seoul, Nova Boy's dressing room was its usual circus. A battlefield of snacks, hairspray, and chaos. Lion, with his bright blonde hair and playful grin, darted across the room clutching a cup of ramen like his life depended on it. Minho. That's mine now. Lion yelled. Ace, the tallest of the group, groaned and yelled at him. Yeah. Bring that back, thief. Z, the group's softest smile and dimpled cheeks, threw his head back laughing. I swear, you guys are 5-year-olds. Ace, with Sky right behind him with his straight fringe black hair covering the upper part of his sharp facial features, both turned towards Reno, smirking at him. Practicing your brooding face again, superstar? Said to him. Reno sat in the corner, perfectly calm amidst chaos, deep in thoughts with an expression that could freeze time itself. His sharp profile caught the glow of the vanity lights and his lips curled faintly. It works, he said simply, finally glancing up. And yes, it did. 2 weeks later, Starr stood in front of one of Los Angeles's most famous recording studios. Her hoodie was swapped for a fitted white crop top, a nice ripped high-waist denim and sneakers laced tight, her hair in a messy bun decorated with gold pins, minimal jewelry and nicely done makeup. Kemi had forced a glow-up, but inside her chest was pounding. She stepped inside, her eyes scanning platinum plaques on the walls. She inhaled sharply, whispering to herself, Deb, breathe. It's just another client. It's just another project. Nothing special. Let's not disgrace the whole Nigeria Opera Association. Her inner voice screamed back. Lies. Inside, the studio was massive with soundproof walls and platinum records hanging like trophies. The smell of freshly brewed coffee lingered in the air. Her footsteps echoed as she entered, clutching her notebook like a lifeline. She took her time looking around the studio. Then there was Reno, who got in the building after getting a call from his manager reminding him of his scheduled meeting with Starr. He casually strolled past the hallway and then saw Starr from across the glass booth, and he was intrigued. He took a closer look through the glass and saw a beautiful melanin girl sat on the floor with pieces of paper around her, scribbling on her notebook with a serious expression on her face. This must be her, he thought to himself quietly. She really takes her job seriously, and her pictures definitely do not do enough justice to how pretty she actually is. He took a step away from the glass booth and walked straight into the studio. Meanwhile, Starr finally raised her head up from her notebook, and then through the glass booth she saw him. Reno G1. The boy whose posters lined her cousin's bedroom wall. The one whose voice she'd studied while writing melodies for other artists. The one she never thought she'd meet. And now he was walking straight toward her. Her heart stumbled. Her breath caught. He's real, she whispered to herself. The door opened and time slowed. Reno stepped in, black hair perfectly styled, jaw sharp enough to cut glass, silver earrings glinting under the lights. Starr froze, her notebook clutching to her chest, halfway open, fingers stiff. He walked past her, his dark gaze brushing hers for the briefest second before sliding away. He didn't say a word. Typical superstar move. And yet her stomach flipped anyway. His manager, who came in few seconds right after him, clapped his hands, breaking the heavy silence. Starr, meet Reno. Reno, Starr. Hi, she managed, voice barely above a whisper. Hi. Reno replied softly, polite but distant. Perfect. And just like that, silence drowned the room again. Soon they sat side by side at the piano, scribbling lyrics, flipping through melody sheets and arguing softly over chord progressions. What if the bridge lifts here? Starr suggested, pointing at her notebook. Something more emotional? Try this chord instead, Reno said quietly, leaning forward. Their fingers brushed on the piano keys. And there it was, the accidental touch. Classic K-drama moment. He held her hand for a slight moment, then immediately dropped it. Her heart stopped, her lungs froze, and suddenly the air in the room felt heavy. Reno looked down quickly, but a faint smile tugged at his lips. For the first time that day he smiled. and she forgot how to breathe. Outside, the other Nova boys were shouting, laughing loudly over a game of rock paper scissors. "Loser buys ramen," Z yelled. Then just as the boys were about passing by through the hall, Ace looked through the studio glass and sensing the atmosphere between Starr and Reno and could see how nervous Reno looked. Then he said to the boys, "And here I thought he hated working directly with songwriters. Guess she's an exception, Well, she's really pretty, what do you expect?" Z replied teasingly. And the four boys went on their way laughing. Then as they were about to record the first demo, the manager cleared his throat. "One quick thing before we continue," he said, tone serious that shifted the entire mood. "There's something you need to know, Starr." Starr straightened, confused. Reno glanced up, expression neutral. 5 years, the manager said slowly. Reno and the boys have a strict rule they follow. No dating. No scandals. No exceptions. It's part of their contract and it's also in the contract between you both. Take a look. He handed the signed contract to Starr. There should be no intimate relationship between you two, and while you're at the studio, it should be strictly business, no funny games. Outside the studio, you both can be friends, but you cannot be seen too often together, alone, and should never be found in a romantic or intimate situation to avoid any kind of scandal relating to him while this album in production. Starr's read through the piece of paper right in front of her and her stomach sank. 5 years. No relationship, she whispered under her breath. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Her face still in pure shock about the strict rules the boys had to follow as idols. But rules are meant to be broken.